The external data source that we've been using over the last couple of units also contains dates of when purchases were made. And a line graph nicely represents changes over time. So let's try one now. So the first thing we do is we create our div, and let's give it a header called total spend per month. We have our queue function in place. We have our script imports in place. So let's give our div a name, which is spend per month. Okay, our make graph is emptied out. All that's there is our NDX, our cross filter, that uses the transaction data passed in as a parameter. Now we want to make sure that the data, in particular the date format, is formatted in a way that can be represented by cross filter DC and D3. And you can ensure this by using a format function that comes with D3. So you can specify the date format, whether it's US, European, and so on. And what you do then is we iterate through each of the date entries and format the date entry as per the specification on line 36. And this, you might recognize the function the function with D as a parameter from an earlier unit when we first started working with D3. D represents a datum in our data set. So all we're doing here is we're parsing the date entries and formatting them. Then we create our dimension, and we're working with date, and the spend across those dates. And we're going to examine and extract the minimum date and the maximum dates that are available on our data set. So we get the oldest date by using bottom, date dim bottom, and the newest date, or the most recent date, by using date dim top. So these will provide us with our domain. And once these variables are in place, the rest should look quite similar to the steps required to create pie charts and bar charts. But instead of a radius in this case, we set a width and a height. We also set some margins for some breathing space around the graph itself. And remember, these top, right, left, and bottom, they're relative to the parent viewport, to the div itself, not the entire browser screen. Okay, we access our dimension, which is date dim, and we group by total spend per month. And transition duration as well, we'll set again Let's set this for 500 milliseconds. And just a reminder, all of these, this is a chaining of functions, all from line chart. You can see the dot in front of them. So one of the common mistakes is to put a semicolon after, say, width or height or dimension. These are all chained together until you reach the end of the chain. And only then should you put a semicolon to indicate the end of the functional chain. Our time scale uses our min data and our max date. And we set an x-axis label per month, and we use the y-axis. We set the number of ticks in the interval of 4, and then we call render all. Now let's take a look at it. Clicking open, we can see our line graph. And there are our month intervals. And you can also segment as well using what's called a brush. You can see it here. That's available by default automatically.